Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Well guys, Asad Yaqub here once again. Happy New Year, huh? Alright, it's been a lot of fuss about New Year 2024, IELTS, test pattern, new pattern, old pattern, what will happen and all that, okay? Now, this video is all about IELTS speaking in 2024 because there are going to be some new topics in IELTS speaking, right? Well, students commonly ask me this question, sir, when should we appear in IELTS exam and when it is not appropriate to appear in IELTS exam, okay? Let me tell you, listening, reading and writing, these three modules remain same throughout the year. There can be any topics and they don't change anything about them. But as far as speaking is concerned, there are 3 times in a year when they actually add and drop some new topics in speaking part 1, speaking part 2 and speaking part 3. Now, when do they do it? One of IELTS teachers, I don't know, I don't remember his name, he's done some research on that and then he realized that in the month of January, April and September, they change speaking topics, they refresh examiner's book. Because you know, in actual IELTS, when you go for your speaking test, examiner has got a book, a speaking book, a book of cue cards, and then there are speaking part 3 questions. That book is same as you see in Cambridge IELTS book, there is 1 page for speaking. So examiner's book is also the same. There is speaking part 1, part 2, part 3. So in the month of January, right, in the month of April and in the month of September, they add some new topics to speaking part 1, right, and they add some new cue cards and they drop some old cue cards. So this is the time. Now, if you've got issues with your speaking and if you want speaking material beforehand so that you could prepare and how to get that material. The students who appear in IELTS speaking test in the first 15 dates of January, what do some teachers do? They ask the students, what happened in speaking? What was the topic of speaking part 1? What was the topic of cue card? And then they write it down and then they compile it so that the students could prepare. So there is a list of up to 100 most important cue cards which examiners have and they give you any one cue card from that booklet, okay? So they change cue cards. Change means they add, I mean it doesn't mean altogether they change speaking. There is no change in speaking pattern. Pattern is same, only they add some new topics and they drop some old topics and you know, like this they refresh examiner's booklet for IELTS speaking. That happens in January, so that's why the first 10 to 15 dates of January, especially if your speaking falls during these days, then there can be some new topics, but if your spoken English is good, there is no problem. Then in April again, they change examiner's book, they refresh examiner's book, right? So that is the time when you need to wait. And after 15th April, you can appear anytime in IELTS exam. And then it is September. So, but again, I'm telling you, if your speaking is good, if your spoken English is good, if you are confident, if your speaking skill is good, then you can appear in IELTS throughout the year, day and night, and there is no problem, okay? So this, and again, I'm telling you, there is no change in the pattern of IELTS and they don't change speaking part 1. Even today, hometown is the most favorite topic of IELTS examiner. Even today, cue cards like describe a TV program you often watch, describe a person. So these topics are, what do you say, 4 seasons topics and they are always there in IELTS, but they come up with some new cue cards. They look around, they see what are the trends, like they have the cue card on social media, they have cue card on mobile applications, they have cue cards on such type of things. So you can just see with the help of students who appear in IELTS exam. And by the way, if you appear in IELTS exam, if you have appeared, I want you to comment your speaking part 1 topic and your speaking cue card as well. And if you want to know further, you can read these comments. Okay, so all the best. Don't worry, your speaking is going to be perfectly all right. Answer every question of the examiner, and if you don't know the answer to any question, tell the examiner you are unable to answer such question because you don't know much about that, and that's perfectly normal. There is no problem. Examiner will ask you this first question: do you work or study? And this answer will determine the rest of the questions. If you are a student, they will ask appropriate questions for the students. If you are a professional, you're doing a job or working somewhere, they will ask you questions which are appropriate for professionals. And if you are a stay-at-home lady and you tell them that you are a stay-at-home lady, then they will ask you appropriate questions. So this first question of the examiner is most important. Answer it properly because the rest of your speaking depends on this answer. Okay, all the best. I also teach IELTS online all over the world and in campus in Lahore, and we offer IELTS test booking service in Pakistan. We have some study plans before actual IELTS exam. You can get those study plans to prepare for IELTS. At the same time, we offer IELTS writing feedback service. We have IELTS evaluation service where you want to get, if you want to get yourselves evaluated and you want to see what is your present level. So we offer all these services. My WhatsApp number is given. You can contact me for that. Asad Yaqub wholeheartedly wishes you best of luck. Take care. Allah Hafiz.